Have you ever heard someone say that they are better than the competition, but they don't explain why, or show the processes they use to get better results? See exactly why credit unions are outsourcing their collection activities to the call center. At the call center, we know the key component in evaluating results is measuring the delinquency numbers, but we know it is also important to evaluate other aspects such as documentation, system operation, and communication with the credit union staff and members. Our knowledgeable and experienced collectors will address these key factors to cut your monthly costs, reduce delinquencies, and improve the level of service to the members. The economic situation has changed, and collection strategies need to adapt and change with it. Collectors need to think outside the box and first figure out where the member is and what the problem is before trying to solve it. The key to our success is taking the time to identify a consumer's motivation to pay and their financial resources with which to pay the account. Our 4 squares of delinquencies demonstrates the methods used to identify where a consumer is, their motivation, and which strategies will work best to move them, motivate them, and solve the problem. As you see, there are 4 types of situations that you might encounter. The graph is divided top to bottom by the members' available funds. The closer to the top, the more available funds they have. The closer to the bottom, the more negative their monthly cash flow. The middle of the page is $0 at the end of the month. The graph is further divided left to right by how motivated or responsible the consumer feels in getting their account paid. A member to the farthest right is really motivated to get the account current. A member to the farthest left has no interest in addressing the situation, paying the account voluntarily, nor do they feel responsible to get it resolved. The upper right square contains members who are current or in an active payment plan to get them current. The lower right square contains past due members that are working through their financial issues to get them current. The upper left square contains past due members that are not responding or not working towards a voluntary resolution. The lower left square contains members that are charged off or need to be charged off. Let's take a look at the components and strategies of each square individually. Current members. Usually they make their payments on time. This might be the first time a payment was late. Perhaps they forgot to mail the payment, or it was a situation where the funds were applied to the wrong account. A member in the upper right square is motivated to pay and has the resources with which to get the account current. Once you get a member into this square, the situation will get resolved. This is an important time to update the employment information and see if their financial picture has changed. Now let's look at the charged off members or soon to be charged off members that are in the lower left square. They claim they have no means of paying and have stated they will not pay. Their financial picture or personal circumstances may have changed such that they can no longer make payments, are unemployed, on assistance, receiving Social Security, talking about filing bankruptcy, or you just can't find them. If the issue is that you just can't reach them, do a full skip trace to locate new contact information. If a bankruptcy seems likely, review a current CBR and consider offering a settlement. If you have collateral or a security interest and no other options are available, it's time to consider repossession. The lower left square is the consumer that has no money, no interest in paying, and probably never will. If you can't motivate them into wanting to pay it, and their financial picture is unlikely to change, the account will never get paid, regardless of what you do. The only real options are to dorm it until their circumstances change, consider a settlement, or charge off the file and invest time on other accounts. Now let's review the strategy for the past due members in the upper left square. Asking an unmotivated member to send in a payment or sending a demand letter will not get it paid. A member in the upper left corner is working and has money, but refuses to pay. Sometimes this is a situation where there's a cosigner or divorce, or the member thinks the other person should pay. The focus should be on convincing them that they are legally responsible. Identify if the issue is a disagreement on fees or CPI and explain why the fees are valid. Discuss the negative consequences, such as a reduction in their credit rating, late fees, or legal action against them. Explain that without the member's action, the next step might be wage garnishment through involuntary collections. This may motivate them to pay prior to legal action being initiated. Send the demand or cob letter, repossess your collateral, and move quickly to charge off. so legal action can be taken while the member is still employed. If the member is not concerned about their potential wage garnishment, ask them why. They may actually be in the lower left square and considering bankruptcy. This is the time to switch gears and change your strategy. If you are unsuccessful in convincing them of their legal responsibility, you will only move them into the upper right square involuntarily. The current bad economic situation is real, but it is also being used as an excuse by members to be delinquent and not honor their obligations. It is time for members to think outside the box, find additional income sources, and reduce their expenses. 85% of our work is past due members that are motivated to getting current but cannot find the resources to do it. Let's look at the details of this type of member and the strategies used to get them current. It is likely that a life-altering event such as a job loss, divorce, illness, or income reduction have occurred. They have a strong sense of pride and want to be a member in good standing again. A member in the lower right square wants to pay but cannot find the resources to do it. You won't get them to pay until you help them find the money. Let them know that you're there to help and want to work with them to get this resolved. This is done by going through their full financial picture and assisting them with their budget. Review all of the combined income and expenses and motivate them to change their spending habits. This will increase their available cash flow and move them above the line and into the upper right square to get them current or to pay on a charged-off account. Collecting from members in the upper right square is easy. Getting them to the upper right square is the challenge. The key to our success is asking enough questions to know what square the consumer is in so you know what techniques to use to get them to the upper right square. Our collectors use this visual representation to identify what strategy is the right one at the right time. Continuing to ask questions of the consumer rather than just making demands for payment will confirm what their situation is and how you can work with them to get the account current. Many times we think the member is in a specific square and begin the strategy of moving them to the upper right square. Sometimes you are wrong or the member's situation changes. The quicker we can find out where they really are, their true motivation, and actual financial picture, the sooner we can use the correct strategy to solve the problem. Asking the right questions, verifying information, listening to the member, and knowing what the problem is will identify their true location and the correct strategy to solving the problem. Our satisfied clients continue to use our services because of the success we have had in solving problems. We have reduced credit union delinquencies by 15 to 60%, formalized operational procedures, and improved communication with members and credit union staff. We treat members with respect and dignity and go the extra mile to establish an individual rapport with each member. The staff at the call center are experts in delinquency management, problem resolution, and credit union operations.